Now, while I'm pretty hard at work at my God of War review script, I have that pretty much outlined and everything. I'm pretty happy with it right now, but I'm still gonna just sit on it for a little bit and make sure that I have all of my thoughts about the game in it before I launch it and everything. But for now, we have some new intel and news around the upcoming PlayStation exclusive Days Gone. And while the release isn't set until early 2019, we did get a ton of gameplay, around an hour and a half, hour and 40 minutes long worth of gameplay and everything, as well as a ton of new news from the good guys at Game Informer. So I say let's just jump into it. What is going on, followers? It is your boy TKD123 here, and today we're gonna go over all of the new juicy intel we got about Days Gone. Now, before we get into anything else in this video, all of the kudos and credit goes to Game Informer. They are doing a month-long coverage of the game, and they even featured Days Gone as the cover for this month as well on the magazine, so that if you go check out the website, and links will be in the description. Now, while recently they have released the first hour of Days Gone, as well as an extra 40 minutes of gameplay as well, and I have watched all of them and taken, substantial notes on them, and that will be a different video, but today we're going to focus on the 157 rapid-fire questions about Days Gone that they did on Game Informer. And don't worry, I won't be covering all 157 questions. That'd be insane, because a lot of them are just fun questions that don't really matter to the game overall, but I will be covering, the good majority of them, the ones that are actually telling of the game that we'll be getting here in early 2019. So without further ado, of course, links will be in the description. Let's jump into the breakdown. Now, one that really caught my eye here was that the game will not have a big showing at E3. Now, of course, it's gotten its heyday at E3 and stuff like that, but I figured maybe we would get one more, pretty in-depth look at the game, but it looks like we will not be getting that, which is pretty surprising because it is technically the last E3 that this game has to show. Obviously, we have other chances to show the game at PSX 2018 and a bunch of different other, venues that they could show the game, but it was just interesting to point out that we will not be seeing a ton of Days Gone at this year's E3. There are no kids in the game, so again, that furthers itself from the comparison of Last of Us and God of War and stuff like that, so there are no kids in the game. The final boss is human, as well as you can kind of choose allegiances in the game. They didn't go into too much depth about what it means to be in an allegiance, but I'm assuming we can just take our knowledge of what allegiance means, and I guess that's more of like a sect or a team, whatever, and so you can kind of align yourself with, I guess, groups of people that line up with how you feel about certain things in the game. I'm not really sure what that even means really, but it looks like you'll be able to choose allegiances and alliances throughout the game. Also, when asked if the world that Days Gone resides in is salvageable, can it be saved, reversed, it looks like that will not be the case. So it looks like the world has gone too deep into a trench to pull itself out. You will also learn the origin of the infection, which is pretty cool in my opinion, because a lot of games sometimes do it, like The Division does it. However, Last of Us never explained fully the actual origin of the infection. We also learned that this epidemic is global. It's not just in the US, as well as something here that seemed like it was a joke, but honestly, I don't really know if it's a joke or not. It could be actually legit, but apparently here in Minnesota is underwater. So take that as you will. There are no rumors of a place free from infection in the game, as well as you can communicate with home base while on your bike. So I'm assuming that's through some sort of radio or phone or whatever, something like that. You can also build up encampments as bases throughout the game as well. And so I'm assuming these encampments are going to be places where you can probably upgrade your bike, upgrade, your weaponry and stuff like that, or just sort through different things that you find throughout the game. Or maybe there's going to be cool places here in these encampments where you can get more lore and get more dialogue from different characters throughout the game that you meet as well. There will be playable flashbacks throughout the game, which I think is a super cool addition to this game, because a lot of times we don't really get the kind of origins of how it looks when it started, like how did it go down when everything was collapsing and stuff like that. So I think that'll be a really cool thing to look at and really play through as well. There are also going to be massive metropolitan areas in the game as well, so you won't be always in the woods and fighting in those more earthy areas, if you will. You will also be fighting in more urban style cities and stuff like that as well. Also, the currency in the game will be credits, shout out to Star Wars, as well as you cannot do a 0-kill playthrough in the game. I don't know why you would even attempt that, but if you were eager to try that in the game, looks like you will not be able to in Days Gone. It was also revealed that the game will be tough, and there's a little bit more to this than just the game being tough as well. Days Gone will not give you the choice to pick easy or hard or whatever. There is just one way to play Days Gone in this game, and they say it's going to be tough, it's going to be a really cool experience, and I actually, you know what, I'm actually down for this choice. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know it is, you know, commonplace for a lot of games to have a very hard mode or very easy mode and stuff like that, but for them to double down and be like, this is the experience we want you to have in this game, this is how we want you to play this game, it is a bold move, and I have to give them kudos for it, for at least giving it a shot here on Days Gone. A lot of the trophies in the game will be punny and jokey, which is nice to see as well. And also, when they were questioned about the use of the touchpad on the PS4 controller, they said they'll be using it for menus in a variety of different ways throughout the game as well. So I'm thinking maybe you'll be able to swipe through menus and stuff like that and do all that cool stuff that, you know, you would assume a touchpad would be used for, as opposed to a glorified button that most games use it for. You can keep playing the game after you finish, and I'm not sure if that means New Game Plus, but you will be able to continue playing the game after you finish the main story and everything. Also, stats are tracked, like how many freakers you've killed throughout the game, which is really cool to see as well, because I cannot wait to see how many freakers I end up killing on my completion of this game as well. There is no multiplayer in Days Gone, so if you were holding out for that, I don't know if anyone was really. I wasn't expecting it, but looks like there will be no multiplayer in Days Gone. And they said that there is sort of a photo mode, and then they admittedly said that it is not done yet and it's not in yet. But of course, with a lot of games following suit, God of War added recently, there of course will be a photo mode in this game. I feel like it is staple for any, you know, major good looking Sony PlayStation exclusive game coming out. There will be different weather patterns in the game as well, as we've seen through many demos and even through the hour-long gameplay that we got as well. You see it go from daylight to raining and everything, so there's definitely going to be a nice weather pattern in the game, as well as lots of collectibles to collect in the game. So for you trophy hunters, for you people that love checking out boxes in games, you'll be able to get a ton of collectibles throughout Days Gone as well. And what's something here that we're going to talk about next here is going to be a little bit sad in my opinion, but you know what, it is what it is. While this game will be getting PS4 Pro enhancements, the game will run at 30 frames no matter what you're playing on. So whether you're on the base PS4 or a PS4 Pro, you will not be glorified with the 60 frames on the PS4 Pro. And it looks like the enhancements will be checkerboard 4K. So again, that's not native 4K, that is just a upscaled version of 4K that you'll be getting on the PS4 Pro, which of course a lot of games do it, so that's not the negative thing here. The most negative thing for me is that we will not be getting 60 frames on the game on the PS4 Pro, which is sad to see. And honestly, I'm not even sure if they've talked about the addition of a performance mode. Maybe that might happen, like maybe they might have a, you know, 1440p 60 frames per second mode in the game. I'm not 100% sure on that, but that might be a thing that they might add later on into development, but we will just have to see upon release. And Days Gone does have fast travel. For you that maybe you don't want to ride your motorcycle that often in the game, you can fast travel to different locations if need be. There will also be no sidecar for the motorcycle. For those holding out, there's going to be no sidecar, as well as there will be plenty of motorcycle chases that we will have throughout the game. Now let's talk about upgrades in Days Gone. You can upgrade the motorcycle's paint job, speed boost, handling and stuff like that, as well as the exhaust as well. So pretty cool stuff that you could do to your motorcycle to customize it in the game. You also get points for doing stunts throughout the game, as well as the tires on your motorcycle cannot pop, deflate, or you cannot also pop a wheelie, which is pretty sad, but you cannot pop a wheelie in the game. However, the bike can and will break down at certain points, so I'm assuming there you will have to go out and find resources to fix it. Like for example, in the beginning hour of the game, spoilers here if you're really sensitive about that, his gas line on this motorcycle gets shot out, so they go out and they go find the part and they fix the bike and everything. And now staying on to the bike topic here, a really cool addition they added here was that when you get a better muffler on your motorcycle, it actually gives your motorcycle a bit of noise suppression so that you can better stealthily use your motorcycle to avoid freakers and people and stuff like that. So definitely cool addition there. And the game's main story is about 30 hours long, so a similar vein to God of War's kind kind of range. I think they said 25, but you'll be able to play this game story in around 30 hours long. Now, when talking about Deacon's hat, there are some events where Deacon will rotate the hat backwards or frontwards depending on what you're doing. So who knows what those events will be entailing, but Deacon's hat will be rotatable, not by your control, but just by the means of the events are happening at the game at that current time. There's also no outfit customization. If you were yearning for that, there will be none of that. It looks like they're trying to build, you know, a story here, and not so much have Deacon be just his character that you can change out and, you know, stuff like that and make, you know, your own to a degree. It looks like they're gonna stick to Deacon is a character, we are telling a story, this is what he's wearing, etc. So it looks like they're gonna double down on the character of Deacon in that sense, as well as Deacon can swim, but there's something in the game they said that doesn't allow him to swim. It's some narrative reason that they didn't go into, but it looks like you won't immediately die when you touch water. Like, you can swim, but for some reason Deacon chooses not to swim. And to them even doubling down that Deacon is the character that is the star in this actual game, and they're trying to tell a story through Deacon. Deacon is also the only playable character in this game. Obviously, that was something that I feel a lot of people would have assumed based off of the gameplay and everything, but there is no other playable character other than Deacon. It is also said that Deacon will be someone that we will care about throughout the game, and that he's good and a funny person overall, so that's really cool to hear as well. And this whole entire interview was done by the creative director of the game, John Garvin, and he said that the influence behind his name, Deacon St. John, was actually because Garvin's pet growing up was named Deacon, as well as St. John was a street that he grew up on. So pretty cool to see those connections there. And you know what, I'm gonna be completely honest here, I actually really like John Garvin's way at dealing with the comparisons with The Last of Us. He broke it down and said the only similarities to The Last of Us is that it is in third person, it's an action adventure game, and a game where you are killing creatures that aren't zombies. Like, that is the only parallels that he, you know, drew to Last of Us here, and he is absolutely sick of the Last of Us comparisons. And I say, you know what, man, talk that talk, make sure you let the people know that you know, this game is not some sort of great value Last of Us or the carbon copy, that you will be doing different things in this game as opposed to Last of Us. He also mentioned that this game is not a bummer game, and it's more of an awesome game at that. And I think what he was trying to portray there was that, like, this game won't focus on the mundane and the sad aspects of an apocalypse, right? Dealing with death and everything. It's going to be more of the, I guess, somewhat lightheartedness of an apocalypse, like the survival aspects, what you'll be doing in the game and stuff like that. And so I think that's what he was trying to say here, where it's going to be, you know, not a sad game at that. It's going to be more of an adventurous game, if you will. And the last 2 points here are that the Freaker Bear that we saw in the trailer is both a boss fight as well as a general enemy. So you'll be, you know, running around the woods and everything, and you might come across a Freaker Bear that might want to, you know, kill you and stuff like that. So that's pleasant, as well as the word zombie never appears in this game, not even once. They are called Freakers. Stop calling them zombies. They're Freakers, not zombies. And that was the big takeaways from the 157 rapid questions with the creative director John Garvin via Game Informer. And again, links will be in the description. Make sure to go check him out and give him full credit and everything. And now that everything is all said and done, let me know down in those comments below, how are you feeling about the game now that we have all this new intel? Of course, there will be a lot more to come out during the coming days with Game Informer and everything, so I will definitely bring that good stuff to the channel here. But I'm just wondering right now, how are you feeling about the game? Are you liking some of the stuff that they're doing with the game? Are you liking the upgrade system? Are you liking just anything that, you know, we point out in the video? Are you enjoying it? Are you not feeling it? Let me know how you're feeling down in the comments below. I have opinions that will be mainly focusing on the first hour of the game that they unveiled, that I will talk about at a later video, and I feel that those are going to be things that are going to be a little bit negative about Days Gone, and I will bring it to you in time and everything. And make sure to also check out our description where you can find our Instagram, Twitter, all the good stuff, where you can follow us on there. Make sure to also keep it locked here on the channel. Stay subscribed, like the video if you enjoyed it, dislike it if you didn't. And also, we really do appreciate all the support, all the likes, all the comments that you give on each and every video. We really do appreciate it here on PlaystationFollower. Thank you all for watching, and as always, keep on following.